Now we'll study animal tissues. Unlike plants, animals have complex type of body design. In higher organisms, plants were having simple tissues which were cells whose cells were dividing like meristematic tissues. Some were permanent tissues for providing mechanical support as well as to provide transport of the materials. But in animals, since there is a complex design, they have to move from one place to another place. They have to perform different life activities. They have, that is, irritability. They require to carry sensation or impulses from one part of the body to another part. So in animals, there are different types of functions performed, and according to that they have different types of tissues, like the transport of materials, like transport of gases, respiratory gases, oxygen from lungs to the tissues and CO2 from tissues to the lungs to be exhaled out. Now, the food materials, the excretory wastes, the hormones and the other substances are required to be transported from one part of the body to another part, which takes place with the help of blood and blood cells. Similarly, now in animals the movement is required. They move from one place to another place in search of food, shelter, protection and other things. So they have muscular tissue to bring about movement by their contraction and relaxing. Nerve cells carries impulses from one part of the body to another part. So animal tissue is generally classified, or we have to study here, in four types. That is, these are epithelial tissues, connective tissue, muscular tissue, and nervous tissue. So we have to study these four categories of the tissue found in animals. Now we have to start with the epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue. First, epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissues are mainly meant for protection of the body. Now they form the outer covering of the surface of the body, as well as it forms the inner lining of the body cavity and the internal organs like stomach, intestine, the blood vessels, the mouth, nose and so on. So now we see that is they form outer cover of surface of body and inner linings of body cavity and internal organs like mouth, nose, intestine, blood vessels, etc. Now, in all kinds of, there are different types of functions performed by epithelial cells, but they are mostly, their cells are compact, that is closely packed without intercellular space. Now the cells may be of various shapes, that may be flat, cuboidal, columnar, and so on. So they are of different shapes. Now if you study the function of epithelial cells in general, then the first and important function is protection. That is protection from chemicals, germs, chemicals, germs, mechanical injury, etc. As well as they uh, they perform function of absorption, like you will study in intestine, a small intestine, the cells in the inner lining of a small intestine like ileum will absorb the digested food materials. So absorption, secretion like in some glandular structures like in salivary gland, as well as in the wall of stomach or intestine, there are some glandular epithelium that secrete enzymes. So secretion, excretion, etc. So these are the basic functions of epithelial tissues. Now, as we have studied that it may be of various shapes, different shapes, and depending upon their shapes, the epithelial tissues may be a squamous epithelium, columnar epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, glandular epithelium, ciliated epithelium. So, now we see first of all it is a squamous epithelium. A squamous epithelium. Now, the cells of squamous epithelium are, that is, their cells are flat, irregular shaped, forming thin compact layer. Now, since this forms the thin compact layer of cells, flat cells, so it will form the outer cover. So it is found in the upper surface of skin, mouth, nasal cavity, etc. Now this structure, as it forms the protective covering, so it provides protection from mechanical injury, germs, chemicals, and prevents drying of inner cells. So it is primarily protective in function. It forms the outer surface covering of the skin, the inner lining of the organs like mouth, nasal chamber, and so on. So as well as in the inner lining of the stomach, intestine, it will be the squamous epithelium. The second one is striated epithelium. If we study the structure, now you see here is the Here is the squamous epithelium. Suppose we take like this, squamous epithelium, and so on. So this will be the squamous epithelium, suppose. Whereas in stratified cells we see that there are layer of cells, flat cells. Suppose there is the layer of cells. There are many layer of cells, hence it is called stratified. So it is composed of many layers of cells, many layers of same or different types of cells, like you see, that is in the skin. It is found in skin. It is found in skin. So it is found in mainly in skin below the upper layer, that is made up of squamous epithelium. Below that there is a stratified epithelial layer in which the inner cells give way towards the outer surface, where it will become dead. Now the third is cuboidal epithelium. As the name suggests, it will be cuboidal in shape. Like suppose in this structure you see, here is the cuboidal cell, cuboidal cells, and so on. So like in C, you see that it is cuboidal in shape. So it will be found in, suppose, salivary gland. In salivary gland, it will form the glandular structure. Cuboidal epithelium is found in salivary gland and kidney tubules. Now it will be cuboidal in shape. That is, suppose we have to draw cuboid. So this will be the shape of it. So this will be the cuboidal. Now next one is columnar epithelium. As the name suggests, column. So these are tall, vertical. So the cells are tall, vertical, cylindrical, or brick-like in arrangement. Now columnar epithelium, they are found in stomach, lining of stomach and intestine. So this is columnar epithelium. As the name suggests, there will be tall, cylindrical or brick-like cells. That may be here, the cells will be present in the form of this like. So this is the tall pillar, like, that is the cylindrical or brick-like in arrangement. Now the next type of epithelial cell is ciliated epithelium. As the name suggests, cilia is the hair-like projection, protoplasmic projections on the one end of columnar epithelium. So these are columnar epithelial cell, columnar epithelial cells having cilia, that is protoplasmic projection at one end. So ciliated epithelium are the columnar epithelial cells having cilia at one end, and the cilia by its lashing movement helps in propelling the substances, that is throwing the substances in one direction. So by lashing movement cilia propels the substances in a direction. So we see that at that place where the movement of some substances are required, then there is a structure cilia will help. Like it, you see, it is found in trachea, that is the windpipe. So that is windpipe, and in the oviduct, also known as fallopian tube. Now what is it? Trachea, the windpipe. Actually, when we engulf something, some food particles or water liquid droplets enter into the windpipe, then the ciliated epithelium or cilia, by its lashing movement throws these substances outward and does not allow it to enter into the lungs. Now, in oviduct is a tubular structure in female reproductive system in which the cilia on its inner wall helps in movement of ovum. Ovum, that is the egg cell, is moved from ovary towards the uterus with the help of ciliated epithelium. So cilia helps in movement. Now, students, at some places the columnar epithelium changes into, that is it will be large and folds to form sac-like structure, glandular structure, and then it is called glandular epithelium. That is, here columnar epithelium are large and folds to form gland-like structures like sweat gland, sebaceous glands, etc. So this is called glandular epithelium, and if it will form gland-like structure, then it will help in secretion. Like sweat gland will secrete the sweat, perspiration drops, and sebaceous gland will secrete the waxy substance, which will make the surface of the skin smooth, waterproof, as well as keeps the hairs on the surface of a skin shiny and smooth. So these were the different types of epithelial tissue. Now overall we have seen that it is protective in nature. It is meant for absorption, secretion and protection from different parts of the different structures, protects the underlying tissues. Clear, students? So this is all about epithelial tissue. In next part, we will study the muscular tissue, the connective tissue, and the nervous tissue. Okay.